Welcome to NRL 360 Rugby League from every angle. Joining me again, Gordon Tallis. Let's bring the journos straight in. Paul Crawley and Dave Riccio. And we begin with tonight's Telstra top story. ARLC Chairman Peter V'landys has launched a stunning attack on the RLPA, slamming Dally M boycott threats as selfish and accusing the player union of failing Polynesian stars in the messy CBA war. Now, he came out of the blocks hard and fast, did the chairman, and this was his first up quote. The RLPA wants confected conflict. They want power. The Commission is prepared to meet with the RLPA board to resolve the matter. If the RLPA really want an agreement, we could get this done in 2 days. The ball is in their court. Now, we heard from Clint Newton in the RLPA quite a while ago, and not much has been said or done since. Gordy, this is a pretty strong stance from the chairman.
And he had to make it. At first, when they banned talking to the media, I felt sorry for the fans. Now the second threat, I feel sorry for the players. I've been down this road before. I really do feel sorry for the players. They've been quiet. The women's game has kicked off, right? They need their voice. They need to build their stars. They need to build their brand. Well, that's gone missing. And now the players, you get Daly Cherry Evans playing his 300th game. We're not even going to really hear from him this week. I think they're poorly led, the players.
Well,
I really do.
The RLPA is doing the players a disservice because they're painting the players as greedy. Like to the average fan out there who looks at the average minimum wage, or the minimum wage of an NRL player is about 130 grand. The average wage is up around 400,000. They're going to receive, what is it, a 37% pay increase with this. And most fans out there who pay their way into the games, who buy the merchandise, who do everything to support the game, they would look at this. Absolutely. And they would think, what's going on?
Guys, the boycott, it's backfired. It's embarrassing. And it's it's backfired on the RLPA management, Clint Newton. To the point where they know it's not working. Because why? Because they've raised another potential boycott, being the Dally M's. So they're veiled threats because they know they haven't been able to achieve the result that they wanted. It's nothing short of shambolic and farcical that this management have led the players into a fight that the players don't even understand themselves.
What do you say? So they don't understand.
And I say this with experience because it's my job to talk to players. I talk to a lot of them every day. And if they think, what's even more farcical is the RLPA have put the media boycott on, and the players are still happy to talk to the journos. If they think the players are abiding by the rules that the RLPA are mandating about the boycott, it's not happening, guys. They're still talking to journos, and we're still doing interviews on the days that listed on the supposed agenda that they're not allowed to do interviews because the players don't understand it. And they don't care for it.
Well, this is what Peter V'landys had to say on the players. I've spoken to a number of players and none of them know what the issue is all about. None of them. They are blindly following the RLPA. How do you do a deal when the people that are boycotting don't even know why they are boycotting?
I agree.
And that's what I'm talking about, Braith. You talk to the player. Again, that's my job. In order to tell stories, write stories about the game.
Can I ask,
we interview the players.
No,
they're not. No, they're not.
Are they the senior
They're
players?
the most experienced players.
Yeah,
and they are the real... It's
the players
the board.
did come out on the front foot and say that the majority knew, and they did come out and insinuate that they didn't all have to know because they had enough representation and enough of the players knew from their club, the leaders. Is that
I don't
not
believe
the
that.
case? I'm just asking, because that was the stance they took early.
Look, absolutely no doubt there'd be a percentage of the playing group that would understand what's going on. But all 100 items on the supposed rejection list...
That's why he banned the media, because if you went and asked the players, 90% of them wouldn't know. That's why the ban is, because if you actually went and you could interview them and you'd get their statement, or we put them in front of a mic, they wouldn't know.
The sad irony for the fans is also that my understanding is 2 weeks ago, Peter V'landys basically, said to the RLPA, look, we can sort this out. I'll take Andrew Abdu out of it. You take Clint Newton out of it to get rid of the emotion. We'll sit in a room and we'll sort it out. And they said, no, we want a fresh mediator and we want Clint in the room. Yeah. So how can you get the deal done?
What-
Clint come on radio and we interviewed him. He said he was prepared to get between the bullet and the target. Well, this is the target and this is the bullet.
We'll listen to that.
Because he can't get the deal done.
We'll listen to that. When the RLPA boycott began, Clint Newton said he'd be happy to step aside if it meant getting a deal done.
How come you haven't been able to get the deal done?
Well,
Do we need someone better running the Players Association?
Well, again, that's up to the players to decide. If that's what they want, I'm happy to be cast out, right? If that's what it takes. If that's what it is.
Well, I think the players need to stand up. Like, I really do. It's taken 20 months and they haven't got the deal done. And I think Clint is grandstanding a little bit. I can feel that he's grandstanding because he's lost his power. He's losing his power. And I would challenge, because I think all the players get, it's B-pay, so it does come out of the clubs or it comes out of their wage. If Clint had to invoice all the players individually, would they all pay with how they're getting represented? That's the question I'd like the players.
The big thing I took out of that was that V'landys had actually reached out with the olive branch and said, let's put Abdo and Newton aside. There's obviously too much emotion here. They're emotionally invested. They're not actually seeing eye to eye. We're not going to get anywhere. So let's just put them aside and let's step into the boardroom and get this done. But the RLPA said no. Why would they say no? But I don't understand that.
Who knows why? He just said then, I'm willing to stand aside.
That's ego.
If the players want me to do that to get the deal done, yet they can't get the deal done.
But once this goes
and it's
away, he
dragged
goes
on
away.
forever.
Once the deal gets done, he goes away. Because there's rumours that once the deal's done, he's not going to be there anymore.
He was in Melbourne today with the union's boss in Melbourne. I've seen. Do we know what this was all about?
Looks like grandstanding to me. Like, seriously, it's
ridiculous.
he's the boss of the NRL Players Association. Like,
It's an association, it's not a union. Is that right?
That's right.
So why are you meeting with a union boss? And wouldn't you go meet with Peter V'landys to try to get... That's not going to get the deal done, is it, for the players? Is
not
it?
he's down there, no.
No,
So is this just about trying to put pressure on the NRL?
absolutely.
Do you think
Well,
it's going to?
there's
Do you think it's going to get him anywhere?
I think it goes back to the fact that the players are seeking power. But ultimately, every employee, you can work with the employees, but you can't hand over power to them. And the NRL's responsibility is to run the game. They have to look after all interests. They have to look after the clubs. They look after the players. They look after everyone.
This is one thing. This is a kid from Townsville asking this question. Most of those people that do march in unions get paid under $100,000, huh? Poor conditions. They're not on an average of 400,000, are they?
No.
No. So they're not on an average of 400,000, well paid, playing the greatest game of all.
But if you
And they
if
go
you
to
look
join a
across
union, so what- are they
the
using them?
workforce of Australia, mate, like the teachers, the policemen, the AMBOs,
They deserve a pay
They
rise.
wouldn't be on the minimum NRL wage, not the minimum NRL wage. And that's why so many people out there would look at this conflict and they would see the players, unfortunately,
But it's not
as
the players.
being...
I don't think it's
I
the players.
understand that, Gordy. But that's what the union is making them appear to be.
And this is what Peter had to say in regards to the wages and the increase. Players are getting a 37% increase. The average wage of an NRL male will be $400,000 and they will be getting longer holidays. How many Australians in the workforce get 9 weeks holidays and a 37% pay rise?
And the argument too that rugby league players have a short career.
They do.
That is true, Gordon.
Absolutely
But
they
that
do.
doesn't mean at the end of your rugby league career you put your feet up on the desk
It's
and
not
you
the end of your
retire.
life.
It gives you a start to life that few people get. That's the
It's a
glory
great
of our
head start in
game.
life. It's a great head start in
When
life.
we grew up, Gordy, there was
keeps you
still
healthy,
old
keeps you off the
footballers running
streets.
around, working at pubs, running the Garbo run of a morning. Like, the game has improved so far from where it was. Players have never had it better. Never had it better.
There wouldn't be too many 30-year-olds in Australia that can own their house. And most NRL players could.
I think what's ironic too about all this, but you'd love to have the players on here to talk about it and actually ask them, well, what is your concerns?
Yep.
What do you want? How can we fix it? Because we're sitting here obviously having our opinions based on what we can see and hear.
Yep.
But they're not allowed to.
No.
So we can't even really hear from them to hear exactly what their feelings and thoughts are, which could probably help the process as well, but we're not. So it's an interesting one. But where to from here? What's going to happen next?
Well, I think there's the greatest disservice that Gordy touched on is the NRLW competition and the platform for the women's game, which is year on year such a rise in both anticipation and participation
Absolutely.
for the code. Let's not ignore, in the backdrop is a Women's World Cup in Australia, football, and
All
we
those
cannot
girls are singing their
promote
stars.
the NRLW to its greatest and greatest promotion without talking to the girls. It's ridiculous.
I think it's definitely hurt the game. It's been great. The first round was awesome from the women's game.
Yeah, the product's fantastic. It's improving every time. It's the
But it's a
biggest
product
growth.
that we need to build.
Absolutely.
It needs momentum because it's only just in its early stages.
And what support do they need from?
And if the girls don't come out and talk after games, and the young fans and the young girls who want to become rugby league players don't see their stars talking, it's only going to hurt the game and the fans.
And the fans, it does. And it's the same with the men's game too, mate. Like, most of the people who really appreciate listening to the players after games and talking is the really invested, rusted-on rugby league fans. Like, they get up in the morning to support their team. On the weekend, if their team wins, they have a good week. If their team loses, they have a bad week. But it's their life.
We got a player coming on, Josh Reynolds, that bled for the Bulldogs. If you missed one day's media, you missed him retiring. Daly Cherry-Evans playing 300 games. That's massive.
Yeah.
When are we going to hear from that?
So just finishing up on this, Abdo's moved aside for negotiations. Should Clint move aside for negotiations?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, to get it done, 100%.
It has to get done.
Braith, 20 months to get a deal done.
Yeah. All right. Hopefully it happens sooner rather than later. I think everyone's over it. I am.